Hey everyone, Skillsy Shooter here, coming at you with the Call of Duty Advanced Warfare multiplayer reveal, which happened this morning. I woke up at the wonderful hour of 3 AM, managed to fuel myself up with a couple of Red Bulls, couple of coffees, and thought I'd just dig a bit deeper into the analysis and some opinions as well, and go through all the things that were revealed this morning. So if you haven't seen the trailer, I'm going to play that first, and then we'll dive into a bit more detail. So let's go.
Friendly missile strikes incoming.
Tsunami warning. Beware of changing tide. Tsunami warning. Please evacuate to higher ground.
We've taken the lead. Spread out! Get out of the go, go, go!
Verticality, verticality, verticality. That's all the buzzwords that's being thrown around about this game, and with good reason too. The movement in this game looks insane. It's, I suppose, tantamount to the Titanfall comparisons. There's been a few videos just describing how, I suppose, how similar it is to Titanfall, or the opinions of it being so similar to Titanfall. By the same token, there's also been a few other videos which go on to explain a bit more about how the verticality of this game is actually a lot different to the parkour and like wall traversing of Titanfall. So they are similar, but there are distinct differences. Those differences come about by way of the exoskeletons, which you would have seen, obviously. There's a few different abilities as well as movement types as well. Those movement types being boost jump, boost dodge, boost dash, boost slam, and boost slide. So basically boost jump is the ability just to, well, they're saying it introduces verticality, so it's just obviously the massive vertical jump. Boost dodge, which is the sort of land-based sideways strafing to avoid gunfire and grenades and all that sort of stuff. Boost dash is actually a mid-air traversal, similar to boost dodge, but just, I suppose, in mid-air. Boost slam looks pretty cool. It's the air-to-ground based melee attack. You'll see a few of the examples of that in the video. And boost slide, which I suppose is this iteration of Call of Duty. It's their sort of dolphin dive kind of thing, but on a slide, and I think you can fire and attack whilst you're doing that as well. So that's pretty cool. Abilities wise, you've got a few different things as well. You've got the shield, which is a right shield, overclock, stim, cloak, hover, ping, as well as a trophy system, and an arm-based launcher, which can fire all manner of things like frag grenades, smoke grenades, Semtex EMPs, as well as threat grenades, which is they're the smart grenades where you can sort of see through walls, and also one called a tracking drone, which I imagine is probably just a mini sort of UAV. All of them look pretty cool though, and I mean, I can't wait to get stuck into using something like the hover, which as you'll see from some of the clips in the video, allow you to stay in midair for a bit longer and just sort of pick off people from a much more elevated position. So I can't wait to get stuck into that. So one of the other things they mentioned is the concept of supply drops, which is basically gamer loot, which rewards you in a way similar to what I think battle packs work. I'm not sure, I don't play too much Battlefield, but basically they reward you for things like time played as well as in-game challenges, different rarity types depending on obviously how long you've been playing or the complexity of the challenge. They usually comprise of weapon loot, which is custom weapons, and also character gear, which again, in the same way that they're going full customization in this, it might be camos, might be different knee pads or work boots or strange stuff like that. As well as things like reinforcements, which are apparently one-time use items like perks and score streaks. The way they tried to market it before is that if you are sort of a newcomer to Call of Duty, or you're just a casual gamer that might not get those rare sort of high-end score streaks, which you probably trawl YouTube to see the best examples of, if you get one of these reinforcement packs, then chances are you might get one of the high-end score streaks. So you can sort of feel how good it feels to get those high-end score streaks. So I think that's pretty good. So when you're talking about customization, obviously the loadouts is a big key thing, and they've done a really good thing in bringing the Black Ops 2 side of things into this game, but they've revamped it and called it Pick 13. So it's essentially Pick 10 on steroids, enabling you to have all the things that you know and love in Black Ops 2, as well as customize your score streaks as well. So you can go into a match without any score streaks, use those points for something different, or you can use a wild card to actually enable up to 4 score streaks if you're a bit of a gun and you don't mind spending the points. So that's a pretty good thing. That was one of the biggest things that I loved about Black Ops 2, and sort of fell by the wayside when it comes to Ghost. So it's great to see they're going back to that. Another great thing that I really like the look of is the customizable score streaks. The example that they used was a gun turret, which if you spend a little bit more in-game money, you actually get the ability to change the attributes of that score streak. For the gun turret, they made it rippable, which means you just sort of take it off its mount and you can kind of walk around at a bit of a slower pace, but still have that firepower. But the gun turret could also have things like a directed energy beam attached to it, sentry gun, 360 swivel, heavy resistance, which I imagine means it's probably harder to take down, things like that. So that's really cool. I really like that aspect. Some of those lower end score streaks, if they're going to be the ones that people get more often than not, then that's good to see that you can keep those around for longer, or you're just going to get more out of them. One thing I am on the fence about though is the cooperative score streaks, and the example that they used was a score streak called Warbird, where if you're basically a gun and you manage to get that score streak, a support person could actually look up at that score streak in the sky and sort of join that in with you. They used the example of one person being a spotter, so that the people would actually show up on your minimap, and you would basically get points for being a spotter, and you'd also get point for the assist if that person actually killed it. So a few people are on the fence on it about this as well, as am I. Few people thinking that if you've got the score streak, no one should be able to hone in on that and sort of get some benefit from that. But on the flip side, it does encourage a bit more team play and make it a bit more objective based. So I guess we'll see how that goes. But for the time being, I think it's kind of a little strange. But I suppose we'll see how we go with that. They did go through a few of the perks when it comes to the exosuits. Some of the stuff will be quite familiar to you. Things like toughness and scavenger. There was blast suppressor there, which I imagine is kind of a flak jacket, even though there is a flak jacket perk on one of those tiers there. But things like hardwired, hardline, blind eye, cold blooded, they're all sort of in the mix in different tiers. So if you're familiar with the Pick 10 system, you probably won't have any problems sort of getting to grips with a few of these different perks as well. Another great feature is something called the virtual firing range. I can't believe someone hasn't thought of it before. So basically you're in the lobby in between games, you can change your loadout, swap it out for weapons and different things, and make sure that the weapon you're about to take into this game, give it a bit of a test and see if you like it. Check out the iron sights, see what the recoil's like, what the fire rate's like, all the things that you kind of want to know ahead of time before jumping into battle. So that's a really cool thing, and I can't wait to get to use that. So another thing that they covered off in the presentation was the map design, and I'm sure that people who are playing Ghosts right this very second are raising their hands in hallelujah, saying praise the Lord, because that was one of the biggest issues in Ghosts. The maps that were so huge or just didn't have any sort of defined traffic pattern were just a nightmare to get around and left you vulnerable more often than not. And then it just turned into a hiking simulator to kind of get back to where you were before. Looks like things are a bit better in this game. The lead designer came out and basically took the reins and told us how these maps have all been kind of done with a true 3-lane design methodology, and trying to get back to the maps and the map size that we all know and love to sort of encourage close quarters combat and a speedier play style, because that was another thing that Ghost really did lack in. You could probably just sit there and listen and you wouldn't hear a gunfight, for a few seconds, purely because of the size of the map and people just trying to get to each other. So it's really good to see that they've really listened to the community in that aspect, and making sure that we don't end up with another Ghost, or at least that's what it kind of looks like. As you can imagine, with the whole vertical aspect of the exosuits, there's now not only an emphasis on map layout from a linear sense in terms of floor level, but obviously there's a lot more height to it now. So you'll probably see that there's ledges and there's windows and stuff that you can crash through, just to sort of add that other dimension of gameplay and make sure that everything just isn't conducted on a floor-based level. You've obviously got to keep your wits about you and make sure that you're looking up into the sky, because chances are that's where someone's going to come from. Game modes wise, all the usual ones that we know and love are there. Hardpoint is making a comeback. Everybody say yeah. Another game that they really only touched on for a couple of seconds was a game mode called Momentum, which apparently is based on War. War, from memory, I think involved tanks, didn't it? I don't know. I didn't actually play War. But let me know in the comment section below and prove me wrong. One mode they did go into a bit of detail is what's called Uplink, or as some other videos have named it, Murder Quidditch. Basically, it's a case of you racing towards, I suppose, the center of the map, where there is a satellite drone, which you need to pretty much get back to your opponent's goal and sort of throw it through. I think if you throw it through, it's worth 1 point. If you jump through with it, it's worth 2 points. So it's kind of I suppose, a modification of Blitz game mode in a sense, and as well as sort of capture the flag kind of thing. But you can actually throw the satellite at an opposing player and sort of render them useless for a while, enabling you to sort of take them out as well. So a few different iterations and a few funky little game modes that look like they're working their way into this. People in the competitive scene actually think there's a lot of potential for this game mode to actually work its way into the competitive scene. So that's good to see that they're happy pretty much from the presentation. Okay, so let's sum things up. Overall positives. I really like the Exo movement. I think it's got a lot of potential. I'm a Titanfall fan, and even though I probably should stop making Titanfall comparisons, that was one of the biggest aspects and the biggest differing factors that made Titanfall, I suppose, so popular, at least at the beginning. It's kind of dropped off since then, but I really do like the Exo movement side of things. I like the fact that they're going back to what is clearly a very successful model, in that they're going back to more of a Black Ops 2 style, and they've really listened to the community in that. That was probably one of the best multiplayer platforms that they've actually embarked on before. So it's good to see that they're kind of playing it safe and going with something that everyone loves. The speed increase, thanks to the Exo movement, is going to be great, because Ghost was just such a slow-paced piece of shit that a lot of times, you'd really have to hike for a while just to engage in a gunfight, only to lose because of the shitty health situation. And the Pick 10 system being revamped into what's called the Pick 13 system, I think is quite good. I think it lends a lot of customization to really make sure that you're going out there with your absolute best loadout, and you're not sort of limited by a number of things like score streaks, which you can now edit to kind of suit you. But that also ties into the negatives as well, and perhaps that there might be a little bit too much customization. Obviously I haven't played it just yet, but I imagine if you're confronted with all these customizations and abilities and loadout types and gun configurations and attachments, it might be a little bit overwhelming, but that remains to be seen. Another thing that is kind of concerning is they looks like there's a similar kind of time to kill that we saw in Ghost, which is a little bit concerning because that was one of the biggest things that I hated about Ghost was just the health and just how easy it was for you to just go down. I really hoped that it might have been a case of just overpowered weapons in the presentation, or I suppose guns being spec'd up to their maximum potential against someone who didn't have flak jacket enabled or something like that. So hopefully the damage side of things will be rectified from Ghost, because that was one of the biggest things that let Ghost down, I think. And I guess the last potential negative, and I'll say potential because obviously it remains to be seen, is that because we're going more vertical, it might lend a few more opportunities for the campers and the people who like to be annoying to sort of have their way in terms of getting up into elevated areas and just sitting there and camping and just shooting away and you not be able to get to them. So that's more of a potential negative rather than an actual negative, but I guess we'll see what happens come November 3. So there you have it. It looks quite good. I'm quite excited, I've got to say. I for one will be taking a day off come November 3 and working my way through the double XP that's going to be done on the first day. Let me know in the comment section below if you want me to cover off anything or what you're looking forward to in this game, and I'll get stuck into some Call of Duty Advanced Warfare videos as soon as it comes out. As always, give this video a like if you've liked the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.